I'm gonna go 11-13. I think that's the safest play. Or I guess it's 11-12. Sorry, I can't math. We should have it. Oh, we don't. Okay, but we don't die in the crackback. Alright, what's going on, everyone? It's Adakai TCG here, and I'm coming at you guys with a video, another deck profile video, and I'm going to have some gameplay at the end of this as well, but I've noticed in the comments many people asking for an ace deck, and so I know that this deck gets a lot of new legs once the new starter comes out for that Whitebeard starter, but I wanted to take a crack at it in its current iteration and release an 8 version of it before the 8.5, just to get everyone used to seeing the cards in the deck and bring the leader back to some semblance of life. And I've landed upon a deck that I really like, so it may be a pet deck of mine for the future, but we'll see. Anyway, let's go over Ace. He's a mono red leader, 5k power with a special attribute. And he has a leader ability that says when this leader attacks or is being attacked, you may trash any number of events or stage cards from your hand. For each card trashed, this leader gains 1000 power during the battle. So all of these event cards become 1Ks to you, whether you're attacking or defending. The important thing to note, though, is the ruling is you have to discard it as a counter before you do anything else, right? And so you can't like counter out with like a Jozu and Izo and then decide, oh yeah, I need to counter more and counter with the events. The events actually have to come out first, and so don't get rule sharked. But the sim will automatically make you choose that phase first. So I just wanted to point that out. But let's go through the deck. We're running very light on 2Ks. We're running Otama, who does synergize really well into this deck. You can't search her, but she's a 1-drop 0-cost body, 2k counter, and on play, you're giving one of your opponents minus 2000 power for the turn. So very good card, very flexible, and so you can use this to combo with some of your removal events if you need to hit a certain threshold. You can combo it with Marco, Whitebeard, etc. But you can also just drop it to lower something that you want to swing into, right? And so sometimes that's worth it if you have a wider board. Minus in 2k essentially is like buffing your whole board by 2k, right? And so sometimes it is worthwhile to use it in that way. The other 2k we're running is Jozu. He's a 4-cost 4k power, 2k counter. He's searchable with Izo because he's a Whitebeard pirate. And he has an effect that says Dawn ×1. If you have 2 or less life cards and your leader has a Whitebeard pirate in it, which Ace does, this character gains rush. And so if necessary and you need to search out a rush at the very end, you could Izo to Jozu. Jozu plays out and you can rush with this character. And so very flexible card in that it's also a 2k. And so we're definitely running that at a 4 of. But that's it for the 2ks. And the reason why is because all of our events also count as counter. And so you'll notice, like, in certain games, like, I'm just countering out as a 1k with Rad Beam, which seems kind of neg, but honestly, I'm running 4 of them, and so I was like, okay, I can afford to counter out with 1, and, like, I'm hoping to draw it later on. And so things like that, your events are 1k counters or 1k buffs. I guess the skill ceiling starts coming in with knowing what is expendable and what isn't, right? And so this deck will reward you if you know what to trash, right? So there's a lot of cards that require us to trash some cards from our hand, right? So we got the Marco blocker, who's a 4-cost 5k power, 1k counter on it, but he's a blocker, and on KO you may trash 1 card from your hand with Whitebeard pirates in it, and if you have 2 or less life cards, play this card from your trash rested. And so very sticky card in a removal heavy meta, but you have to know what to trash, right? What are you okay giving up? And so sometimes trashing the wrong Whitebeard pirates can cost you the game. And sometimes not using this ability will cost you the game. And so the more you'll play this deck, the more you'll know like what's expendable, what's not. and etc. And especially if you start understanding the searches, you'll see what you bottom decked. And so like if I bottom deck 3 Whitebeards and I have only one more left in my hand, probably don't want to trash that card, right? Because I'm not going to expect to see another Newgate for the remainder of the game. And so things like that, you're kind of like it just takes nuance and practice. But the other card is the 5-cost Marco. He's a 5-cost 6k power, 1k counter, and on your turn and on play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 3,000 or less. And on KO, you may trash one event from your hand and play this card from your trash is rested. So you have a lot more options with this as well because you have so many events. But yeah, again, like trashing the wrong event to keep this guy up sometimes is very, very neg. But the cool thing about Marco, and the reason why I love this character, is because you can decide, right? Because you can either counter regularly, you know, things like Jozu, your Izo, Otama, to save it. If they're swinging kind of just evenly into it, but you can if they swing really big into this Marco, you can just be like, all right, swing really big. I don't care. I'm just gonna trash one event, and so it kind of forces your opponent to play well, and any misplays will allow this guy to be sticky and have way more value than he should, and so. With that being said, we're going to backtrack and go to the searcher. He's a Izo is the only searcher that we're running. He's a 1-cost 2k power, 1k counter. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Whitebeard Pirates card. And other than Izo, add it to your hand and place the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. So very good early play, very good throughout the whole game. He's going to be fishing you out all your key pieces. Key pieces like your Ace, your Newgate. Sometimes you might need to fish out a Flame Emperor, or if you need more cost reduction, you have the where is it? Crossfire. Yeah, Crossfire here, and so this card's grabbing you pretty much everything that you need in this deck, and so minus just a few cards that you can't search, but very, very good card, and so we have to run it to 4 of. We are running 4 of the 7-drop Ace. He's our mini boss monster, and this card is so good. It's so good. So he's a 7-cost 7k power. On play, give up to 2 of your opponent characters minus 3,000 power for the turn. And then if your character, or if your leader has Whitebeard powers in it, this character gains Rush. So he's a 7-cost 7k Rush that gives 2 of your opponents minus 3k power. And so you can start comboing that with like Seaquake. You can combo that even if you have a Newgate on board. Now your Newgate's hitting a 6k character and removing it off the board if you attach Tudon to it. You can combo it with Fire Fist, meaning the Fire Fist now is hitting an 8-cost and a 7-cost. So very, very strong card. I love this card. It's 4 of. I was running it in Marco, running 4 of in here, and so definitely really, really good. And so the other boss monster we're running is Newgate. We're running one more after this, but this is the other last searchable boss monster that we're running, and so he's a 9-cost 10k power. It's great to see him back into the meta. He's on play is up to one of your leaders gets 2,000 power until the start of your next turn, and then you cannot add cards from your life area to your hand by your effects this turn. That second part's mostly for the Newgate leader, but we still get to buff Ace up to 7k, and then he has a secondary ability where if you attach Tudon to him while he's attacking, you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less, meaning really great answer into popping that annoying Rebecca blocker, annoying Chopper blockers and Raise You, and just all sorts of other blockers while you're swinging. And so he can kind of swing into the leader or other characters, kind of being unhindered by a lot of the blockers. And so very good card. The other low-key MVP of this deck is his 10-cost Shanks. Just being able to play him and remove a 10k power character is really good. There's a lot of turns where he hits, let's say, a lot of good targets this game. And so like you can hit the Dofi, you can hit Eustace Kid, you can hit Moria, Isho, Jack. Yeah. Only ones he can't are Kaido and 10-cost Linlin. But other than that, he's pretty much KOing everything else. And so, very good tempo card, very sticky because it's a 10-cost 12k power. and sometimes you just need that to remove a big body and establish one. And so I'm running into 3 of. I kind of wanted a 4 of, but we're gonna go through the events, and the events are already kind of tight, and so I don't know what I would remove really to increase it. But anyway, let's go through the events. We're running 4 copies of Rad Beam. This is just one of the best defense cards still in the game. Up to one of your characters or leader gets 2,000 power for the battle. Then if you have 2 or less life cards, you gain an additional 2,000 power in the battle. So it's a 1 cost for 4k counter. And it has a trigger that says up to one of your leaders can gain 1,000 power for the turn. That trigger does matter too, right? If they're going to go wide and you pull it off a life, sometimes buffing A's up to a 6k could be the difference between living and dying. And so also a very good option for trigger. We're running 2 copies of Seaquake. This has it's a main activation, and if you have Whitebeard in your types, you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. And then there's a trigger that says give up to one of your opponent's leader or characters minus 3,000 power for the turn. So both the trigger and the main effect are very good. And then we have the Flame Emperor. This is the Ace exclusive event. Also one of the most goated events in the game, but it's a 7 cost, which is really significant. But if your leader is Portgas the Ace, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 8,000 power or less, then your leader gains double attack and 3,000 power. And then it has a trigger that's like Jet Pistol, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 6,000 or less. So very good card. But if you combo it with Crossfire, which is a main and counter, if your leader has to wipe your pirates, you give up to one of your opponents minus 4,000 power for the turn. So Crossfire and Flame Emperor gets rid of any card in the game, right? And gives your leader double attack. And so it's both offensive and a board mitigation. Very good to combo together, but Crossfire is just really good across all these cards, right? Because it combos well with Whitebeard, combos well with this Marco, and combos well with Seaquake, and so Crossfire is very significant. Then we have 2 copies of Fire Fist. You can discard 1 event from your hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less, and KO one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 power or less. So it does cost 2 cards, but you're getting rid of 2 bodies. And so this is a very strong event card. Only costs 3 to get rid of 2 bodies. And then it does have a trigger that's similar to Jet Pistol. You KO one of your opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less. So as your leader, if you're noticing, you have all these triggers that KO your opponent's characters. You're getting rid of your opponent's board too, sometimes arbitrarily from life. And so really fun to do that. Next, we're running the 0 cost event because we're running a lot of boss monsters and a lot of events. And so just in case we need this, we can trash 1 card from your hand, give up to one of your leaders 3,000 power for the battle. And this one has a trigger that says give one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 3,000 power for the turn, which does matter sometimes if you don't want to trash that extra card. You just want to debuff one of your opponent's characters, you can do that as well. We're running 2 copies of Fire Fist, and the reason why we're running this, although it has a very similar effect to Crossfire, is because of its secondary effect. But you can give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4,000 power for the turn. Then if your life has 2 cards or less, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0 or power of 0 or less. And so very good to get rid of the Rebecca or Chopper blockers. And I think those are the only 0 cost blockers that we really see. But so that's why we're running 2 copies of this. We're still getting the same effect as Crossfire if we need it to, but we get that added bonus of just being able to KO a 0 power, which does come up time to time. And it does have a trigger that says activate the main effect of this card, and so that's also very good. Lastly, we're running 2 copies of Jet Pistol. Classic card, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 6,000 or less, and it has a trigger that says activate this card's main effect. And so that's the deck, guys. We're KOing a bunch of stuff. It's really strong. It's actually really fun, and surprisingly, it does pretty well into the meta. I think a lot of opponents aren't expecting it. Its biggest weakness is probably Sabo. Not the leader, but the character card, Sabo, that makes your whole board immune. But even then, there's ways to play around it, right? Because we don't always have to KO with this deck. You can just sometimes or power reduce and swing, and so there are other play lines you can do. And so give it a try. Let me know what you guys think, but we're going to get into some gameplay now. Alright, you guys have been asking for it, so I am doing an ace video. I'm going first. This hand is okay, but I'm actually gonna mulligan, try to get a little bit better hands. I do like this hand a little bit better. We're gonna pass here. So they pass. We're gonna go do an EZO search. Oh, this is pretty nice. So the Fire Fist is actually going to be really good this game, but oh man, I kind of want to grab. I am going first, so Whitebeard on curve also feels really good. I'm gonna grab a Whitebeard, and then we'll put it back like this. We're gonna go 7 at leader, and so this game we're gonna be trying to mitigate the board while going pretty aggressive into his life too, which I think this deck will allow me to do. The way we built it out. But the more I'm playing this deck, the more I'm like, man, maybe this will be my pet deck for the rest of 8. I've been playing Purple Luffy as my pet deck, but that quickly just became like a strong deck. I don't know. And so it's been really fun playing that deck, but I feel like I should diversify a little bit. We'll take the first hit. Being a 5 life leader, we can afford to. Here, I'm just going to swing, and then I'm going to summon the Marco. We won't be able to KO anything, but getting that body on the board is going to be very important for when you start spamming the rest of the board out. And so, we'll do that. We'll play the Marco and pass. So we have our next turns to really lined up. We have the ace into the Newgate. Barring something weird happens, then we will obviously have to pivot, but I do like that. Oh, he's Piranhaing. This is digging a little bit deeper. Maybe he didn't set up his top 5 the way he wanted to with this Stofi. He has 5 Dawn remaining, meaning if he leader abilities, that only leaves 2. So he might just swing big, like swing 9 and summon something. Otherwise, I don't know what he does for 2 Dawn. Yep, so swinging 9, and he's probably going to play out. Hopefully it's not a Jimbei. It's not, so we're kind of chilling. We will also take this. We don't want to counter out something that huge. So we're kind of set up in a good spot here. We're going to drop the ace. We'll lower these 2. I'm just going to swing 5 into his Weevil. It'll be very hard for him to protect this at this point. We'll go 6 at lead. And then we're going to go 7 at lead. We should probably keep this blocker. Okay, he'll block it. He's trying to keep a healthy life. Which I think he was kind of safe to take. No, I guess it's a good block. But we do have a couple options for next turn. We can just drop the Whitebeards back to back. Otherwise, we do have some other board clear if we need that, and so we're kind of in a good spot. Like, I think if I become 7k leader, he's going to start having a hard time swinging into me. And so it's not a bad gig. It feels good to be playing ace again, though, honestly. I dabbled in this leader when he first came out. But honestly, I was a Zoro player, but coming back to it now after experiencing much more of the game. Which 2 did he? Oh, he red rocked. Okay, it's not up. Okay, he red rocked the ace. Here, I'm just gonna give him a 2k. He didn't develop anything, so we're kind of chilling now. We safely just dropped the Newgate. And now he's in a lot of trouble. We will not trash any stages. And we'll pass turn. Yeah, we have a plethora of answers in our toolkit right now, so depending how he responds here, we should be able to respond right back. What's cool is that if you have Crossfire and Flame Emperor, You can even deal with that 12-drop Kaido. Very strong combo. Very strong combo. And you can search both of these too, which does matter. Okay, so he just hard plays the Moria. Okay, he revealed the Jozu and he can't do anything about it. Let's see. Here, I'm just gonna give him the Otama. I'm okay with that. And I think we're just gonna keep playing. I'm just gonna drop the Whitebeard again here. Alright, we're just gonna go 7s at life. We'll pass the turn. Oh, I guess he just gave up. Yeah, there's nothing that he could have really done this game at this point. I had the Shanks, I had Flame Emperor, Crossfire, so next turn we can definitely push for game, just using a Crossfire on the blocker and then just going really big at face. And I was not close to dying at all, if you'll see here. Because every event is a 1k for Ace, my hand is very live for defense, and I was sitting at a 7k. So yeah, no, Ace is like really fun. We're just getting into some more gameplay though. Alright, we're up against a Lucci. We'll see how we can fare as Ace into Lucci. We definitely will mulligan this hand because there's nothing for us to do with it. Alright, so we have a decent hand. Perfect. We'll grab the Marco and we'll pass. I'm gonna take this first hit. If he seems to disband them, do I just keep? Yeah, we keep that. I'm okay giving up actually a Rad Beam here, since we are running so many. Here we'll just guarantee the kill onto this Bandom, and then we're just gonna swing 7 at lead. I'll take this one. The hard play the Kaku. We'll try to maintain control here. We'll just do one of these and then we'll attack. If he was playing like this Kaku, he must be pretty bricked in hands. Or really wanting some sort of bodies, but okay. I would have loved an ace right now. If we Fire Fist, give up the Rad Beam. It's gonna be at 9k next turn anyway. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll give this up. Okay, with those two. And I think I'm gonna go 7-9. He has a lot of cards in hands. And he's at 9 Dawn. Let's just trash like. No Rebecca in trash. Oh, he E-showed me. He got the Flame Emperor and he got. I will counter out of that. That's okay because we have the Shank still, which is relevant. We'll just quickly respond to that E-show. And then we also have the Whitebeard for the following turn as well, so. Or I think we just go for game though, right? I mean, no, I think the safer play is just actually just drop this guy. Strip some cards out of his hands. Black doesn't typically run any rush. Only card I don't want to see is a Sabo, but that's okay. We will definitely save. Okay, no, he doesn't need him. Yeah, so now it's like much safer for us to go to game. Only 5 cards left in hands. We have this in the bag. I could KO this guy, but anyway. So let's see. 9. So 2K, 2K. If he has 3 2Ks, we can go 10. Wait, hold on. 9, 10, 11. 9. So I think I go 10. I'm gonna go 11, 13. I think that's the safest play. Or I guess it's 11, 12. Sorry. I can't math. We should have it. Oh, we don't. Okay. But we don't die in the crackback. Maybe I should have went the other way, but I think we're still okay. Okay. I think he gave up. Yeah, there's nothing he can do.